Welcome back builders to The Sims 4 at Booted Builds. In today's build, on offer is a weird build, which didn't turn out the way I intended it at all. Well, mostly, sort of. As I've mentioned before, when I build in games, I usually have a very clear plan of what I want to build, what I have in mind. I don't always sketch things out, sometimes I do. But I always have a few keywords, as in, this is what I want to build, this is the kind of person I want to build for, in The Sims at least. In Planet Zoo it is a little bit different, of course. But like I said, I have a few keywords and the whole build or a room revolves around those keywords. For this particular build, my keywords were eco-living, of course, because of the new expansion. Single sim, micro home, traveler to Sulani, modern. Those were my keywords. And I kind of also have to add plants, because plants are always, and I mean always, one of my keywords. I really have to force myself to cut back on plants, which I kind of did in this build, except that then I went all out in the garden, which was not as intended, like I said. So what I wanted to build was a micro home for somebody who lives in a city or a suburb, but who travels to Sulani a lot, and thus has a lot of Sulani, what do you call them? English, souvenirs, that is the word, yeah. I'm Dutch, so sometimes I need to think a little bit about the English word. Traveler to Sulani was the plan, and it started off pretty well. The house was like, I didn't want to build a straight, normal shaped micro home, so I gave it a bit of a weird shape on purpose. That went well. I put in the modern windows, I gave the kitchen modern, like, styling, using the new lamps from Eco Living, and that turned out amazing. But at some point I kind of lost track of what I was doing, what I wanted to do. I found some Sulani plants in the by debug mode, the hidden objects, and I just went all out. The plants were my undoing. I have to admit, the plants really were my undoing in this build. Originally, I intended a very simple garden, mostly flat, absolutely not jungle garden. And I wanted to use a few tiny planted pots with Sulani plants as accents in that garden. But the second I put the first Sulani plant down in the garden, I just went all out like crazy. So the build, I mean, I don't hate it, but it definitely isn't what I had in mind when I started, and the result, I think, is a bit of a mismatch, as in, it feels more like somebody living in Sulani who thought like, hey, I want to add some modern features to my house, than somebody who lives in the city and is like, hey, I want my house to remind me of all my trips to this fantastic tropical island. So it's a little bit weird, and I also didn't use as many eco-living objects as I intended to. But I don't dislike it. I would love to, well, not live here. On holiday, I would definitely like to give this home a try. So I didn't go back and fix stuff. I considered doing a different build, a second build, which is more in theme with the keywords I had in mind. I decided not to do that either, so this is the Sulani home, which has been modernized. I hope you like it. I hope you like the speed build. If you have questions or suggestions, as always, don't hesitate to post, and enjoy the speed build.
Du har som ørnæse stiller, kan bare falde in the soil. Lorena's whiffing orphan up. Brief na wives and bib na gossip lies. Oh, Jerry's on big salad cry blow. Gaffler's uni gel back you garus. Kai pans out, la bafa goya marshal. Don't be lasagna follow. He's so evil, kadorzi. Kabai gofa flufa on chico gadon. On chico gadon. Kapan down, la bafa koya marshal. Don't be la sign I follow. Although it tastes like it, blood grill me. Leaps out, Charlie Pago for Como. Junkie in a Barbie May. Favute. Bravo, bit for Paris, Kununza, Gazita, Fefe, Rosie, Juju, Shabana, Walk, Cavona, Deal, Kaiser. Girl, me, Paga, wanna see who, Eva, Chiba, Kimba, Wonka, Lua, Best Born, I walk, to travel, a Ziwaba. Yama casa gelé, babuzi paz, boza cripples umer, ya fazi missa breshu en vuko. Kite brunch, redafa wumpulizo, tigawa chanaza kuzi babo, kavus aso e won clamples Jackie Tay brunch. Bravo, bit for Paris, Kununza, Gazita, Fefe, Rosie, Juju, Shabana, Walk, Cavona, Deal, Kaiser. Girl, me, Paga, wanna see who, Eva, Chiba, Kimba, Wonka, Lua, Best Born, I walk, to travel, a Ziwaba.
Azina